Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the Kaiser Report. I'm John here with Kaiser asleep on the couch one more time. Coming back to you to let you know what took place since we last talked on Thursday last, because we had a long weekend here, and it was an enjoyable weekend. We still have guests visiting from Florida in the Boca Raton area, and they're having a wonderful time enjoying the fresh, clean air of the East Tennessee mountain and area and in and around the western North Carolina and southwest Virginia area, which they are visiting right now. Our weather has been very cooperative. We had a lot of rain yesterday, which is very good for the area here because it has been a very dry season this year, and we know that we need a little bit more rain to fill the aquifers and keep us all in great drinking water, sweet water here in East Tennessee. So the big headlines all over this morning are the worry about one more time Abrego Garcia has been released from the Tennessee jail and is now being housed somewhere in Maryland.
You're the insignificant piece of dust!
Appeared in the immigration court or at ICE this morning, and the crowds are gathering outside the building because this is the hill that the Democrats decided to fight and lose on, because for some reason they want this criminal to remain in the United States as a bannerhead for all of the losers that are running around right now in Washington, D.C., trying to make a name for themselves using this poor slob that got caught and has been ordered to be deported several times. Now they're trying to broker a deal with him because he doesn't want to go to Ghana where they're going to send him, and he would like to go down to Costa Rica, which is an easy jump across for him one more time to re-enter this country illegally through some fashion or another, as he did in the past on a couple of different occasions. But the Democrats are standing behind their Abrego Garcia and bypassing all of the criminality that he was arrested on in the first place. And the fact that he's here illegally, the fact that he did not enter this country as a legal participant in our society. He is a trafficker, a human trafficker, probably a drug trafficker. He is, they keep saying, a suspected member of MS-13, which I believe was probably is true in my estimation. You know, you don't have those tattoos on your knuckles for any reason other than to prove that you're a active member of some gang somewhere or whatever it represents. Who knows? These people, have many tattoos to identify them, right up to and including the teardrops to show how many people they have murdered or been part of murdering someone somewhere in some country, and in some cases it's here in a city near you that these things are happening. So I hope and pray that Abrego Garcia gets thrown out of this country and stays out of this country. That's my fervent wish for what could take place today at that ICE meeting. The crowd be damned that is out there with the signs saying that he is a Maryland father. And the other thing that was on the news this morning, all over CNN and MSNBC, is the mayor of Maryland out trying to make a point that they don't need any help in cleaning up their crime-ridden city of Baltimore. and they're on about the bridge being rebuilt and who's paying for it and so on and so on. You have these failed governors and failed city mayors that just can't get over the fact that they were appointed in many cases through a DEI program or helped along by that to get into a position where they do not have the abilities or the smarts to carry out that particular job. Whether they're elected to do it or not, they may be deficient in a lot of areas of understanding about how to run a city because they have never run anything before in their life. And in the case of the Maryland governor that so aptly spoke so clearly this morning about how anti-Trump he is, this guy got elected because of his participation in the military and having been in an elite fighting force. And I'm sure that's what the public looked at when they looked at he and whoever ran against him as far as being part of somebody that would bring law and order to their cities. The numbers in Washington, D.C., as a result of Donald Trump's involvement, along with the National Guard and the help that the police needed because their police force in D.C. was severely deficient in numbers to take care of some of the crime. But if you look at the last 17 days of crime-free D.C., there has not been one murder at all in the entire time that the police were being helped by the federal government. So let that be a beacon of light to you in Chicago, in L.A., and New York, where your crime is on the rise and your killings and murders and carjackings are out of control. The stealing from stores and shoplifting up to certain amounts of dollars that you can walk away with. The bailless jail sentences that they are just releasing people back into the streets, all has to come to a screeching halt, and the government will help them do this if they would be so inclined to accept that help. It would be a benefit to every citizen that lives in these blue cities that are just now totally out of control. And this is something that is sorely needed in the aforementioned cities that we just talked about. And that'll bring us to the weekend news cycles were not very enlightening to anyone over this weekend that I could see. And we have a web of lies that are still pouring from MSNBC and CNN as well. And it's just incredible on how much they can lie and get away with and then come out and make announcements through somebody like Joy Reid that will tell you, oh, there is we can't lie on our programs because we would be called into the office that controls that and all this other crap. Let's just take a quick look at that.
The entire day side is just like CNN. It's just straight ahead news. It is not ideological. And they would actually I had a dayside show and I got in trouble for doing things they thought were too ideological because they were like, this is daytime. You're supposed to be just straight ahead news. At night, it is their editorial position that it is liberal. It is Rachel Maddow and is very liberal. And now that's moved up to 4 p.m., right? It's Nicole Walls, who's not liberal, by the way. She's just a sane, normal Republican. So you're sort of sane, normal Republican all the way to liberal. You know, I don't think Ari Melber is particularly liberal. It just gets more and more liberal as you get later down the thing. And then, you know, Stephanie Ruhle, she's a finance lady, but she's just normal and sane, right? So I don't see it as and the second reason is you're not allowed to lie. Like we couldn't get on there and just say,
because you could be sued. Yeah.
Well, not only that, we had standards and practices department. We'd be dragged into a standards and practices and legal meeting. We'd be fired. You can't lie.
Oh, really?
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
You're not allowed to lie.
So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay. Now the other job.
But it was not a small job. Like, I did the fries. I mean,
She never worked at McDonald's. She said she stood over those French fries when they were being fried, and it was so tough work. She never worked there. She's a liar. She's a liar.
The Des Moines Register is out with a brand new poll conducted by J.N. Selzer's firm. This, as you know, is the gold standard of polling in Iowa.
Gold standard of polling in Iowa.
And it shows Vice President Harris with a 3-point lead over Donald Trump in that state.
The next day.
Just a quick update from NBC News, Steve. Now projecting that Donald Trump has won the state of Iowa. That's going to be 6 electoral votes, and this one got a lot of attention in the last couple of days.
A lot of attention over the weekend.
Because of that Seltzer poll, which showed Harris up 3.
Yep, and she's not. so we can get off the polar coaster, and everybody that was focusing on that can go back to focusing on actual vote count. I mean, that was an outlying poll. There's a lot of respect for Seltzer in the polling community, so a lot of people took it very seriously. Clearly, there was some kind of glitch in the data there, or something changed in the last 24 hours.
We had standards and practices department. We'd be dragged into a standards and practices and legal meeting. We'd be fired. You can't lie.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
And the last thing I'd ever do is lie to you.
And the last thing that I would ever do is lie to you.
These people are sick. They're sick. They're bad people.
Well, there you have the web of lies that is right there in front of you if you care to understand why you should not be tuning in to Gumby Head, Morning Jackass, and his wife Mika, or any of these talking brainless heads that are on MSNBC or MSDNC, as some call it, and CNN and the like of these programs that are misleading in most cases, and some cases just out and out lie about a situation or a person or a thing that took place, along with spreading of propaganda from the leftist side of things, the almost communistic side of things, as they're piling up to be anymore when you look at the race for mayor of New York City or Minneapolis, and these dyed-in-the-wool communists and Somalians that want to take this world, or this country, like other places in the world that are economic cesspools, and people out of work, prices through the roof, and controlled distribution of wealth, and it will be your wealth that they redistribute, not theirs, because the elite liberals that want to push these programs down your throat do not suffer the loss of anything. They gain, and they become more elite, more limousine liberal elites that we don't need anymore. And if you look at what takes place in and around, as you just saw on MSNBC and all that, with, in the morning with Sharpton out there leading a bait out there for racism every day. This has to stop. There should not be a racial divide or a religious divide in this country ever, because this Constitution doesn't allow for that. But you have people like the Reverend Al Sharpton, who is he's a fake phony, if anything can be said about him, and also has a shaded history of not so nice things that caused racial divide. We don't need a division in this country anymore. We have a president now that is trying to undivide everything that the Democrats have spent the last 10 years trying to divide us against each other by religion, by race, by anything that they can. And that's where all this DEI stuff came in, to where they needed to weaken the governmental structures that were set up state by state here, and also to divide up the Congress so we can't get anything accomplished anymore. If you look at what the Congress has been able to accomplish in the last 10 years, it's next to nothing. They're so divided that it's ridiculous. They can't talk civilly amongst each other. They're out in the streets carrying signs, singing stupid songs, and railing against everything that is shown to be going well in this country right now under this administration. If you look at the wins that are coming along for Donald J. Trump, and just in the 7 months that he is sitting in power, it is phenomenal at the amount of deals that have been brokered. He's trying to broker a peace project right now that will be unbelievable if allowed to be accomplished and finished in the fashion that he is trying to do it in. But win after win, even the phony lawsuit that Letitia James thought she was going to cash a big check for didn't pan out, and you'll see that a little later in either the What Is It All meme, or it may be in Stupid Town, because we know, other than and aside from having a 7-foot statue of herself stuck in a main thoroughfare in New York, so she can live forever. Talk about tearing down statues. That would be the first one I would go for. She claims it's not her, but it is. Look at it, and you'll know instantly. It's almost sickening what they had done in New York City and what they plan to do with this commie that is running and garnering all kinds of money from states outside of New York, and God knows where it's coming from. But when you raise $1 million and most of it comes from outside the state you're running in, that should tell you that there's someone behind the push for communism to take over the city of New York and then bleed on into the rest of the state. And that is, that will happen. And it will happen faster than you can shake a stick. So that, the Democratic Party is very good at getting away with something, and then when it doesn't work in their favor because there's backlash on it, they will accuse the person that's looking into it of doing exactly what they did and got away with. And that's what's going on with this Adam Schiff over the weekend when he's on these talk shows talking about that the retribution that is, it's clearly revenge that they're going after he and Hunter Biden and a couple of other of their sycophants that are in there, that were all involved, and now it's coming out in the manufacture of the Russia stuff. And it's being looked into, and a lot of pages that are being turned over are very enlightening as to exactly how it happened and who was involved. Schiff is up to his eyeballs in it, and now they're looking at him for other things that have come out in the wash as they look into his involvement in the impeachment processes. And one of the things that came out, along with Letitia James, is the real estate fraud that they've been involved in, which, funny, this is what Letitia James tried to go after Donald Trump in New York with, was that he misreported something to a real estate venture that was going on, and got her way with that. But it turns out that she's done the exact same thing on her own, and so has Schiff, claiming that they're a resident of California and then a resident of Maryland. Doesn't shake out. Let's take a look here.
Hush up, boy.
Mortgage fraud. I want to read a little bit of what President Trump posted on social media. He writes, quote, Adam Schiff has engaged in a sustained pattern of possible mortgage fraud. Adam Schiff said that his primary residence was in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off America when he must live in California because he was a congressman from California. Now, the government mortgage company, Fannie Mae, says you're, quote, engaged in a sustained pattern of possible occupancy misrepresentation on several loans. Are these allegations true? How do you respond to them?
They're patently false, and the president knows it. In the housing agency, president's person, Pulte, knows it. He's essentially doing the president's bidding against me, against Letitia James, against this person on the Federal Reserve. Mortgage is their new weapon to go after their critics. But I've been very open about my residency, both in California and in Maryland, with my constituents and with the lenders. So there's no there. But the common denominator is they will manufacture anything to go after their critics, after members of Congress.
What did you say?
So there's no there. But the common denominator is they will manufacture anything to go after their critics.
Can I show you something?
The Russians offered help, which we know they did. The campaign accepted help, which we know they did. The Russians then delivered help, which we know they did.
There is circumstantial evidence of collusion.
The case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now. So they will manufacture anything to go after their critics.
You've said on more than one occasion that you've seen ample evidence of the Trump campaign's Russia collusion. Last March, you said you had more than circumstantial evidence of treasonous collusion with Russia.
I've certainly said that there's ample evidence of collusion.
Can you agree that there has been no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy that has been presented thus far between the Trump campaign and Russia?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion.
They will manufacture anything to go after their critics.
We do know this. The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help.
Would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
Have you ever been somewhat intimate with a stuffed animal?
No.
That's a lie.
Adam Schiff, you cannot trust that lying individual any further than you can throw him. And that is a fact. So looking at the last couple of weeks, it's been interesting on the crying in the wilderness of people with the signs trying to eradicate our president, get rid of him at all costs, and in some cases even calling for the murder of the president, which it used to be against the law to do, but for some reason now they just run and roam free after making these comments. And it's kind of silly, but it's what's happening. And we're looking at it every day. If you do cycle through these news channels, it's incredible at the nonsense that they can come up with to stand their ground on manufactured fake protest that are, when you stop these people with the signs and talk to them, you'll quickly find out they're not even from the state that they're protesting in. And that in itself should tell you people are being imported to do the bidding of someone who is organizing these things. And it's chaos, and it's misdirection, and it's also an attempt at division of this country. It doesn't really represent what they're saying it looks like in any way, shape, or fashion. It is ridiculous when it comes down to it. These people that are being bussed all over the place to protest this and protest that need to go get a real job, not the couple of $100 a day that they're paid to go out and carry a sign, in most cases a misspelled sign, because that's how ignorant some of these people are. And we see it daily amongst these people that are out trying to generate hate and discontent and division around our entire country. And in most cases, in major cities that are sanctuary cities that they don't want you fooling with their illegals, because they have plans for them. They have redistricting plans for them. They have plans to have them vote. These illegals were brought in for just that, to increase a census population in some areas so they can redistrict and make sure that a Democrat stays in power in that particular stronghold as they see it. But when redistricting happens on the Republican side, it's all bad. We have to protest that. We can't let that happen. So one more time, it's the Democrats do it and then accuse someone else of guilt, of the guilt of doing it. They're never guilty with anything. So that'll take us into a look at the last couple of weeks with our segment called What Does It All Mean? Right here.
On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him.
He's strongly in favor of indicting the president when he is out of office.
I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from the president in a democracy.
Hello, today we're going to talk about foxy pronouns, and yes, those are two pronouns, and then I'm going to show you how to use them in sentences. Someone who uses fox as a pronoun might feel a deep, personal, or symbolic connection to foxes, like it really fits how they see themselves. Fox is what's called a noun self-pronoun, which is a form of a neopronoun.
Oh my God, I am literally shaking right now. I just read the news that John Bolton's home was just raided by the FBI. We knew this was going to happen. At the exact same time it was being raided, Kash Patel posted on X, "No one is above the law." And I just want to make one thing really clear. I voted for this.
president. It's too much. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Trump was right.
They suffer from a thing called TDS. Do you know what that is? Yes. TDS, it's a horrible, horrible terminal disease.
Republican lawmakers in Minnesota want to, here in the state, add Trump derangement syndrome as an official mental illness.
Tonight, Trump derangement syndrome. Bernie says it's an epidemic right now. He joins us from Miami.
This bill defines the Trump derangement syndrome as an acute onset of paranoia in otherwise normal persons that is in reaction to the policies and presidencies of Donald J. Trump.
Trump derangement syndrome, you know what that is?
Trump derangement syndrome has people believing that Donald Trump is Hitler. To people with Trump derangement syndrome, Donald Trump is more terrifying than cancer.
It's a great honor. I had a disease named after me. Trump derangement syndrome. It destroys the mind. It destroys the mind before the body, but the body eventually goes. TDS is Trump derangement syndrome. They have it at levels. They can't even stand their life. They can't stand anything.
You crazy lunatic 70-year-old man, baby.
Learn to see the sickness.
Well, I hope you enjoyed What Does It All Mean? And that'll take us to talk a little bit about how to lose $200 million overnight. The Julie Macano, or I can't remember how to pronounce her last name, who is the CEO of Cracker Barrel, which was always one of my favorite on-the-road stops to make, has stepped on her hammer big time, almost Bud Light crazy here, with the logo change and taking the farmer with the barrel away from the logo and then refitting some of their areas to look more modern. More, as she puts it, up to date. That's not what Cracker Barrel was. Cracker Barrel used to be a place you went to for its eclectic look, its eclectic feel that you had. Also, the consistency of the food. Let's not fool with that. Why bother changing something that works? If you've ever driven into the parking lot of a Cracker Barrel, I don't care what interstate you're on, you're going to find and be hard-pressed at most times of a day to find a parking spot in those places. They have huge parking areas and even places for buses to unload. It is a good working model that did not need to be fooled with, but you have this person who thinks that she knows better. So I guess losing $200 million overnight won't affect her job at all, and I'm sure that she is paid through the nose to be the CEO of this fine organization that once was a great place to visit. And what they're going to do with it now, I have no desire to go and see it when I'm on the road. But it was a great road stop for any traveler at any time of the day to go get a good, warm, friendly meal. And you could shop there for tchotchkes if you so needed to. In some cases, get that old-timey candy that you don't see, that you used to be able to get in the candy stores. And now they have to fool with that. They've taken Hollywood away. They've taken a lot away from us in the last 10 years, in case you haven't noticed, and changed a lot. Even the syrup bottle doesn't have the same logos anymore because it was offensive to some people. Why, I have no idea, and I could never in a million years try and explain that to you. But maybe Cracker Barrel could explain why they're doing it a little better than this.
Now, with big changes at a restaurant chain that is an American staple, Cracker Barrel is renovating its locations, but many loyal customers say the change is removing what makes the restaurant such a great dining experience and taking to social media to voice their complaints. Well, join us now exclusively to talk about this is the CEO of Cracker Barrel, Julie Masino.
To the remodels. I think what's important is that we are listening to our guests. We're doing this all for them. What they've said is they love the new seating. We're adding in booths, making the chairs more comfortable, putting in new lighting, brightening up the paint color. But what's important is things that people love about Cracker Barrel, the soul of Cracker Barrel is not changing. The rocking chairs are still there, the fireplace is there, the peg game, all the things that make Cracker Barrel, the vintage decor, it's still there and it's working. The results affirm that we're headed in the right direction.
What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing.
The feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing and that we're headed in the right direction.
I beg to differ.
The results affirm that we're headed in the right direction.
And she lied.
I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm going to give it to them.
These are evil people. These are sick, evil people.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
She has the started of the ruination of a great chain of restaurants for the traveler. That's all I'm going to say about this anymore. Which will bring us over to Beavertooth Hochul in New York. She is just not happy at all with the fact that a family from Queens has been deported, all but the 19-year-old son, who is still in custody in New Jersey, I guess Newark Holding Center, while the woman and her daughter were deported back to their country of origin, and it was a legal deportation by an immigration judge. But Kathy Hochul isn't happy with that. So let's take a look at old Beavertooth here one more time.
We have a brand. New York has a brand.
Governor Hochul says that she has reached out to DHS calling for the release of a Queens family from ICE custody. The 3 family members were detained last Tuesday during a routine immigration hearing in Lower Manhattan. The mother and 6-year-old daughter, a New York City school student, were transferred to a detention center in Texas, and the 19-year-old son is at Delaney Hall in Newark. DHS said in a statement, the mother entered the U.S. illegally from Ecuador with her children in 2022.
The next day.
Some new information on 2 members of a Queens family who were detained by ICE last week. Tonight, we have learned that they have been deported to Ecuador. Damn! The mother and her 6-year-old daughter were deported. Her 19-year-old son remains at Delaney Hall in Newark. Last week, they were taken into custody during an immigration hearing in Lower Manhattan. DHS said the family entered the U.S. illegally in 2022.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Thousands of tears later.
Hochul posted a video statement reacting to the deportations of the girl and her mother.
This is cruel. And I say to those who did this, where is your humanity? President Trump, you said you were going after the worst of the worst. Do you think she's really the worst of the worst? Why can't we work together to go after the truly worst of the worst?
Like you?
The 6-year-old is the first known person under the age of 18 in the city to be deported in the president's immigration crackdown. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security tells USA Today that the family received final orders of removal from an immigration judge.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
That the family received final orders of removal from an immigration judge.
This is cruel. And I say to those who did this, where is your humanity?
I would like to volunteer to take this old bird out of her misery.
And of course, the news will carry everything she says and make it all true and take the side, of course, of all the illegals and become, one more time, the propaganda arm for the left side of things as they are in New York City and will continue to be, only to get worse if her favorite person to run for mayor of the city of New York gets elected by some fluke that this guy gets enough votes to get put in power. It will be the ruination of the biggest, greatest city in the world, my city, New York City. And that'll take us to our favorite exit that's just off the highway here, the exit to Stupid Town.
He's a communist. I think it's very bad for New York. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. Joe Biden released them into our country. He released them all.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke.
Come on down and experience New York.
This morning, on the orders of Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and doubtless Donald Trump, the FBI has executed a search warrant in a raid on John Bolton's home in Maryland.
I gave John Bolton a great opportunity.
John is a patriot who has served his country a very long time.
All he wanted to do was bomb people.
What they are claiming is that Bolton has illegally retained classified material of some kind. You can't disagree with the fact that John Bolton was a long-serving national security professional who had access to classified material and who knew how to handle it.
He's a liar.
This is a beta test to expand this. They will be arrested arresting Comey soon and searching Comey soon. They will go up this chain. This is the future. They will start arresting people who have criticized them. They'll use this to give the MAGA something to crow over because it distracts them from thinking about the fact that Donald Trump is a corrupt and sick pedophile. The idea that you're going to end up with Trump as a guy who pardons all of them, that's a big bet for them. He could drop dead any time, Pam. He could keel over tomorrow, Cash. And J.D. Vance is a different cat. He's corrupt and scummy, but he does not have Donald Trump's fundamental shamelessness. He does not have the political will of a movement behind him. He might not pardon you. There is a real reason why the people who think they're going to get away with all this think it, because Trump pardons the people who do his dirty work.
Did you ever hear of Trump derangement syndrome? He's got.
It's a damn shame. A damn shame.
Hey everyone, it's Representative Anavia Scamani, and I'm here right now at the Pulse Rainbow Crosswalk that FDOT thought was appropriate to sneak into our community in the middle of the night and to totally erase. Sneak into our community in the middle of the night and to totally erase.
But I will come back before you soon with a check for $250 million.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. And the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members.
President Trump real asshole. Why he wanna deport all these Chineses and Mexicans and shit? If you deport us, where you gonna get your nails done, huh? No more mani-pedi for you, asshole. You like kung pao chicken? Well, no more kung pao chicken for you.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed your visit to Stupid Town and figured out what it all means as we had gone through several things with you today that I find mildly amusing but almost sickening in some aspects when you stop and think about the crazies that are flooding the streets with ideas and ideals that are not conducive to carrying on the tradition and the greatness of the United States of America as it was set to be by our founding fathers. I ask you every day to continue to pray every day and pray hard for all the leaders across the world that they come to their senses and make at least an educated attempt to put an end to some of the wars and strife that we have going on in this world today. And that the leftists that are in the streets come to their senses, go back to school in some cases, get an education, and then try to understand what the Constitution means to this country and so forth. But prayer is a very powerful tool that we have at our disposal, and we need to utilize it every day now more than ever. And in God we trust is the motto of this country, and in God all things will be right one more time if we come back to reality and understand what God's messages are. And they are sent to us every day if we care to stop and listen to the voice inside of us that knows what's right from wrong. And the mental illness that are in the streets today, God help those people. I pray for them that they will get well. But mental illness is something that I have no understanding of, but it is there, it is prevalent, and we have to try to understand the plight of these people that are very confused and not understanding of what reality is any longer. And with that, I'm going to tell you all, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report here and on Rumble from Monday through Friday for a few bits of news, an explanation of the news, and a few laughs on the road to Stupid Town. God bless you all. Bye-bye now. Happy Monday.